Hands like houses. Dissonance. What up, random rockers? This is going to be a little different. A little bit. I'm not going to be playing anything for a while. Well, technically not yet. If you wondered what this is, it's tablature. And it has nothing to do with this review, but it will be of a future review. Hint, hint. And possibly part of a new segment, but I may not get to that later. If not, you know now. So, back to the review. Hands Like Houses, Dissonance. Post-hardcore, alt-rock, indie rock kind of band. For some reason, my iTunes says punk, even though I highly doubt they sound really all that punk compared to another particular album I reviewed earlier. That was more punk than this album. This was more alternative than anything. Possibly indie, I guess. At moments. If anything, I could maybe qualify it as pop punk, because there are moments where it gets into some Fall Out Boy territory, and those are the times where it gets or at least that's how Trenton Woodley's vocals come across sometimes on the clean. It gets to the point where when he does scream, it's more interesting than your clean when you start to sound like that. But when he doesn't sound like that, and he sounds more closer to his own, or at least more like Anthony Green, thank goodness I finally figured that name out, for Circus Survive. If you sound more like that, I'm okay with it. I'm not a huge Circus Survive fan, but so what? Overall, this album is pretty damn good, but aside from little nitpicks. But for the thing is, it seems that for the most part, it seems to really cater more towards a teenage demographic, really, than a young adult or one kind of coming close to being middle age like myself. So I was just a little taken aback by this record, a little taken aback by some of the parts. And I think my least favorites of tracks is when they start doing stuff like that. Tracks like Motion Sickness, I think, is the one. Yep, Motion Sickness and Momentary. Or is it... Hold on a second, guys. No, yeah, that's right. Division Symbols. That's when they'd start using a lot of... The chorus is so Pat Stump, it's not even funny. Oh. It's just so, like, why? So, yeah, it just reminds me too much of that, and it kind of takes me out. And most of the time it's clean on here, and when they scream, it's useful, of course. And I actually kind of find it more savory than Pat Stump style clean vocals or wobbly vibrato bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. I was okay with Fall Out Boy when they started, but then they kind of went to shit after From Under the Cork Tree. But I don't enough to where when that time came around for Infinity on High, I just didn't even want to bother to get the other albums, and plus none of the kids I liked in school found them more overrated or annoying or something, so I just kind of said, peer pressure, let me tell you. Glad I'm out of high school. Because that shit was weak. No, education ain't weak, it's just peer pressure's weak. Don't let anyone peer pressure you to do or listen to anything. Be your own. Kind of screws me up sometimes. I'm still trying to figure that out now. And I'm about almost 27. Almost. Anyway. Tracks Like I Am are honestly, which start off this record, is just amazing. Perspectives isn't too bad, but it's just, there's not much going on for it. It isn't until, of course, by the time the third track kicks in and we get the other two singles that come off, like Colorblind, though kind of whiny-ish vocals, but, Anthony Green style. Not Patrick Stump style. Or, then again, his whiny vocals could be comparative to Brandon Urie. I'm going to say Brendan Urie. From a Panic at the Disco at times, but not nearly as overtly, not as wobbly vibrato as Pat Stump, and not as, I'd say definitely more Anthony Green. If you're like more into Circus Survivor, Story of the Year, or The Used, yeah, especially The Used, a little bit. Not as dark though, or as metal inducing, I guess, but more hard, if anything, closer to hard rock rather than punk rock, but they don't necessarily qualify as that, so let's go with that. We'll just go with that. Fuck it. This is random. It's how I roll. I'd like to do edits, guys, but I'm using this phone, and this phone's editing sucks, and I don't know how to transfer videos over there for editing software. Sorry. So for a while, until, I actually have a legitimately good budget for this, just expect Rob Scallion Channel 2 types quality, except they're far higher quality than mine, so it's not really helpful. Old school CKN, we'll go with that. Shout out. Yes, the disconnect is welling up, and good intentions are not enough. Your words are weary, their hearts are strained, and idle vows find the deepest pains. I'm sick, I'm tired of hollow hope, of promises empty. Your way with words, they're feeding back inside my head the things I could say that won't change a thing. I am not the same, I won't feed on fame. You're one of 1,000 voices in my head that all just sound the same. If never made a difference, it won't make the meaning change. You're one of 1,000 voices in my head that all just sound the same. If I will make a change, it's by my words and not my name. I mean, that's just some, I guess it's more in the sense of being at a point where they're in a band and trying to find your identity after kind of losing it from all, like, I guess, the sense of fame. But at first I never really thought of that until I read these lyrics. So I was more thinking like just a form of identity crisis, and then trying to figure out who you are and not letting others peer pressure you, or just this whole live above the influence kind of thing, I guess. And then I think, which I guess from where this track eventually, I'm tired of, from that, which is of course the chorus, and after that it's the next verse. I'm tired, I'm sick of misfit beggars with able tongues and easy outs. I hear you're clearer than you hear yourself. Bite down on your blindness and spit it out. I won't sink into the sea of gray, I won't melt into the choir of angels. A violence of color, I'll step up and scream it. I am dissonant. As of course dissonant was, the album's title, Dissonant. Come on. Perspectives deals with pretty well just other types of perspectives. I'm not really going to get into that one. Colorblind is an interesting track as well, but for better or for worse, our vision of the future is getting blurred. Between the black and white, naming every shade of gray has left us colorblind. We are all, and of course the pre-chorus, we are all for none and none for all. We are the sickness and the symptom of the cure. Repeated so many times. And of course the chorus, so close your eyes. Let the colors fly and hide from the noise outside. We're colorblind from the black and white, but we've never burned so bright. Leading, of course, into the verse. It's weighing on my mind. Did we forget the way a diamond shatters light? A sight for weary eyes. The colors of the Twilight Rise. Yeah, that's when it kind of is like, okay, and there's times where the word Twilight has become a curse word now because of the shitty-ass movies and books that they were based off of. And that's kind of where it becomes harder and to say the word, and it becomes cringeworthy. Fucking Hollywood and fucking stupid goth bitches that don't know good stuff when they hear it. Ugh. And bridge the great divide, set fire to the sun, let the colors run. That's kind of, and some of these parts, like the We've Never Burned So Bright, he screams pretty well, and it's good. really is a good pump up for it, the way they handle it. But New Romantics is awesome. A hopeless romantic, self-medicated on reality. A misunderstanding is all that anyone can see in me, pulling up the floor to go deeper down, tearing at the soil to find the ground. I'm trying to find myself, coming back to the same words to try to tell a different story. I'm farther from myself, coming back to the same words and hope they come alive without me. A moment's reflection has given me a second chance to heal. A loss of connection in matching up my words to how I feel. I've taken on too much empty pages on the floor, tearing volumes from the shelf to find what I've been looking for. Then it hit me. Well, I haven't changed. I'm still the same man I was before. Well, I haven't changed. I'm still the same man I was, just trying to find myself. I'm trying to find myself, coming back to the same words. I'm farther from myself, coming back to the same words. The way it's handled, putting this to the music itself, it works better, and it's honest. It's still pretty solid lyrics itself, and then of course, and Glass Out's not bad for what it is, though I think that that's when it starts to get into Patrick Stump sort of vocals, and I'm like, But then Division Symbols is where it gets ridiculous to me, because it's just, that's just too emo for me, even though it's too poppy in its style, and it's too emo in its lyrics, especially with your chorus. And that's when he starts really hitting the warbly vibrato that Patrick Stump does. And it's like, why? And then Still Roller happens, it makes up for it completely. And then I think Momentary is when they kind of, Stillwater is definitely one of a good one. Momentary is alright. I think most script. I mean, a lot of people like Degrees of Separation, and it's all right. I think lyrically, it's not a bad track, but it's not something I talk about as much. But it's not until like the final two tracks make up for it, and it's probably the only other tracks lyrically I can get into. And I think I can somewhat find a way to relate to. The Edge, it calls. Gray Heavens, the Edge, it calls to me from the gray. I don't know my hour or day, and I'm afraid of being oblivious to oblivion. I say a prayer under my breath and hope you hear. If it's my time to go, I don't want to look back. I'm waiting for something like a light to guide my way, to step into nothing when I'm not quite sure that I don't want to stay, to believe that someday I'll be fine, and everything's alright, and this is not my time. My art of balancing is lost on me. I don't know which way to fall into infinity. Will it feel like waking up or falling back to dreamless sleep forever on? Will it feel like waking up life before the way a dream just disappears? Will it feel like giving up and letting go and drifting out? And of course, the chorus being it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. It's and that one's basically about questioning, the heaven and hell concept, I guess, or at least the concept of where do we go when we die, and whether or not we are willing to accept our death, or if we're willing to fight it and try to continue to live. And that's kind of where Grey Havens goes with, I guess. And Bloodlines, I feel like, deals with, this idea of, parents being disappointed in us. And trying to live up to what our parents' expectations are of us, but also trying to find our own individual, be our own man or woman or whatever, whoever you are, I guess, and figure out our own individual selves throughout our own form of individuality. And I guess it's kind of a conversation, one-way conversation from the individual, that particular person's individual of that generation to the child or the kid or the son or daughter or whatever to like the parent. And that's, if I'm bred for failure, just tell me once, because I don't feel like I'm meant to just survive. If I have no future, if it's already pain for the past, just give me the pieces so I can call them mine. I don't care if I leave empty-handed. I will learn if I make my own mistakes. I don't care if you don't understand it. I will learn if me find my way. By killing time, we kill ourselves. By giving up, we give ourselves away. If I'm born to falter and I've already fallen from your grace, just give me the peace to prove that I'm alive. And the final words here that are used as sort of the bridge of this is very much, it's definitely something that will hook people who may be fans, longtime fans, because this is their third album. I don't know if, I'll get to that actually in a second. And it's, if I'm the bastard child of best intentions, if I'm the bitter voice of discontent, if I'm the broken hope of indecision, I hold the future in my hands. Definitely, and this repeating on until, of course, the chorus coming in of just by killing time we kill ourselves, and blah blah, as I had stated earlier. Wow. Lyrically speaking, and the thing about this album, it was supposed to come out, it's kind of a similar situation to another album I will eventually get to sometime next month. Literally, I think about, oh damn, yeah, actually, I'd say almost a little less than a month from now, I'll be getting to that record album. And somehow that entire discography. My goodness gracious, it's going to be cram. I didn't think I'd have to cram again like I did. But yeah, it's going to happen. And it's probably going to take a while because this is a long video. But yeah, it's fun. I like the album. Overall, Hands Like Houses, they definitely made sure that they tried to hold back and make sure that this album was as good as it needed, as proper and done right. And they didn't want to just throw it out there just for a cash grab. They wanted to make sure they had good quality material. And for the most part, and especially from the lyrics itself, it is good quality material. I don't have it playing, but go ahead and check it out if you have to. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, if I could fix this damn thing here. Okay. Well, I want to put it up here with everything else, but the thing is, if not for some of the little gripes that kind of really kind of take me out of the album, I will say it's not a crap album, so it's not going over here, guys, but it is going here. It's still good. It's solid for what it is. The guys did a great job. It's just, I just didn't feel the record in its entirety find a way to grab a hold of me and keep me enticed and want to continue to listen to it multiple times. I mean, I can skip through a few tracks, but not stick with the album as a whole. So for that, it deserves its place somewhere in the middle. I may change my mind in the future, but for now, it's staying right there. Hands Like Houses, Dissonant. What did you guys think about it? If you ever had a chance to listen to it, you can go on to look it up search it on YouTube if you have to stream it. I prefer you go, if you do like this, you better have went out and bought it, I guess. Somehow, whether it be iTunes or something like that, maybe digitally stream it on Spotify, some way legally to where the band gets what they honestly did deserve after all the work they put into this album. And all the work and all the lengthiness I had decided to put onto making this video. If you like this, guys, leave a comment down below. Leave a comment down below in the description box. And rock that like button if you have to. And I guess that's it, guys. And I'm not going to end it as flashy as I usually try to do. Besides, I got other things I need to do that'll be a little more flashy later. And so, of course, as always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully, you'll see me with something else other than just me and this. See you.